welcome back to the channel. Recently there's been a notable increase in the interest shown in the racing series supporting Formula 1. You see it in Twitter. There's lots of eyes on the feeder series at the moment, especially Formula 2 and international FIA Formula 3 right now. But how much do people know about the different series below that? Seem to have taken a look at, so let's investigate. Now, people are aware that Formula 4 exists, but they seem less certain about the murky waters junior formulas that exist between national Formula 4 and the international FIA Formula 3 that supports Formula 1. Most countries that have an interest at all in racing run a national Formula 4 series, but the jump from national F4 to international FIA F3 is pretty large, and as a rule, the only national F4 series that you might make that leap from is probably German ADAC F4, which is kind of considered to be the F4 Elite series. The obvious example of this is Teo Porcher, who won the ADAC F4 series last year and has gone into having a decent season in FIA F3, racking up multiple wins. With few exceptions though, most of his contemporaries have moved on, have gone into a series that sits just below FIA F3. It's generally considered that the route from F4 to FIA F3 basically is two main routes, with a few less clear ones for those who are perhaps a bit more financially challenged. The divide, I thought at least originally, would probably go as follows. If you're from Central or Eastern Europe, then you'd probably race an ADAC F4 or Italian F4, and you'd probably find yourself in European Formula Regional Championship, which links Italian F4 as being its feeder. If you raced in F4 championships in France, Britain or Spain though, then there's probably a better chance that Formula Renault was calling your name. If we look at the breakdown of which series some of the drivers ended up in though, it's perhaps not as clear cut as that. Formula Renault is the longest serving championship with a greater history, but it's kind of the unwanted child out of the pair. It doesn't really fit into the tidy little ladder that the FIA were trying to arrange, and probably wouldn't still exist at all, as Renault originally wanted the engine deal for Formula Regional, but as that fell through they decided they'd keep their Euro Cup series anyway, but upgrade it so they were racing with the same Tautus TF318 chassis as Formula Regional series, but using their own 270 brake horsepower Renault Sport Turbo engine. As a result of it not being an FIA series though, it receives less super licence points than the Formula Regional European series, and that contained 25 points winning a championship as opposed to only 15 for Formula Renault. Despite this though, when you look at the entry lists for the year, it's still Formula Renault with a bigger grid. So why is that? According to the Renault website, the prize of winning is substantial, with €350,000 and a place in the Renault Academy up for grabs for the winner. As with any series racing at that level, they race on some top tracks, including Monza, Imola, Nürburgring, Magny-Cours, Zandvoort, Circuit de Catalunya, Spa-Francorchamps, Hockenheim, Paul Ricard. They might even be finishing in Yas Marina at the end of the year. Originally they were supposed to be doing Silverstone as well, but it's 2020 and yeah, that didn't happen. Almost more importantly though than any of that are the winners that they'd be joining. You see, Formula Renault Euro Cup is something drivers want on their CV. Previous winners include, the Mercedes Formula E team, France's most recent race winner, two people who shared a flat together around 2018 time, recent FIA F3 guys, and of course Twitter personality Jack Aitken. And it's a series that ran continuously in one form or another since 1971 as Formula Renault, with the Euro Cup title itself running since 1991, and drivers are drawn to historic series. So what about the Formula Regional European Championship then? It is, or at least it was supposed to be, the European part of the regional F3 trilogy, along with counterpart series in Asia and America. It uses the same Tautus chassis as Formula Renault, but instead relies on a 270 brake horsepower Alfa Romeo engine. And as I said, it's only in its second season, so it doesn't have the roster of names to have competed in it that Formula Renault can call up, but fans of FIA F3 and Junior Formula will still recognise some of them. In a bid to try and attract more drivers, as it's been having trouble filling the grid, it's offering a prize of €200,000 for drivers and teams, the aforementioned 25 super license points, which is pretty big, and a test in FIA F3 or maybe even F2 equipment. But it has a major problem. And if you think Mercedes is dominant in F1 right now, check out Prema. And last year they absolutely ran away with it, and this season isn't looking any better. In short, if you're not a star of Prema's YouTube channel, forget about it.
That's crazy. Track length of Misano. I have a really bad memory.
The series has about 3 teams worth mentioning, and it genuinely feels like Prema are in a separate category sometimes. Formula Renault, by contrast, has got 4 different winners from 4 different teams and 6 races so far this season. Last year saw a tight title battle go down to the final race of the season, and it was great. Teams like Race GP, ART, GP, MP Motorsport, they've got some close competition in there. Last year's winner from both series stepped up to FIA F3 this year with Prema. Frederic Vesti from Formula European Regional secured wins, and Oscar Piastri, reigning Formula Renault champion, is in with a great shout of the F3 title at the point of recording this, which has only got 1 race weekend left, so that could change by the time this video goes out. Well, we'll find out. But the point is that the pedigree coming up from them series is proving itself. Although, of course, it never hurts to be driving for the championship winning team, Prema. So, we covered the 2 series that races are most likely to want to step up to, providing results and budget in F4 can support that. But of course, it's never that simple. Britain, for example, has its own BRDC F3 championship, and whilst I've kind of referred to it on occasion as a series for drivers who can't afford to race in Formula Renault, which is a little unfair, and it certainly doesn't stop me from watching it every year. Lack of money isn't a reflection on talent, and teams like Carlin, RR, Fortec, and the team who are new for this season, Hitech, have all got pretty decent international pedigree going on, and there's other teams like Chris Dittman Racing and Douglas Motorsport who have got good results in that series. So it's a decent grid of teams, and there's a healthy number of drivers as well. It's competitive to watch, and in fact the lineup that Carlin started the season with in FIA F3 were all ex-Carlin BRDC F3 drivers. The cars themselves, the Tautus, again, BF3020 chassis of a 2-litre Mountoon engine producing 230 brake horsepower. The chassis have had significant aero changes to them this year, with the idea bringing them closer to pace to the regional F3 cars. Lucky enough to actually be able to ask Ayrton Simmons about them recently and how they compared to last year, and he's basically said the cars have got a little bit more drag than they had last year with the changes to the aero, but it has increased the downforce, although it's still only about half of what he's racing currently, which takes us to our next series, Euro Formula Open. In the past, it was always kind of a poor man's answer to the amazing series that was European Formula 3, before the FIA decided to kill it. But it still has the Dallara F3 chassis, which is what older fans, yours truly, think of as being Formula 3 cars. This year, there's a new one. And when they asked people what they wanted, it was a car with the spirit of the old F3 car, whilst having the safety of the halo incorporated into it. And the result seems to have pleased people, and competitive lap times at Paul Ricard when Formula Regional and Euro Formula Open raced there on the same weekend had the Euro Formula Open cars lapping and qualifying in 1 minute 53, while the Formula Regional cars were qualifying in 1 minute 57, 1 minute 58 time. The car is a step away from current thinking with the FIA homologated cars, as they make up for the extra weight by increasing power. Despite Formula Regional being 4 to 5 seconds slower a lap, they actually produce around 35 more horsepower than the Dallara F320 cars used in Euro Formula Open and Super Formula Lights, previously known as Japanese F3. The time is made up for by the fact that the F320 is lightweight by comparison, keeping to a weight of 580 kilos minimum weight with driver. And as Ayrton Simmons said, having great downforce. Dan Tickton was the first person to give the new car a run out, and his initial thoughts about the new car were that, Like for many drivers, my preferred racing car is the Dallara F312-317. After the first test of the new 320, I'm glad to say that Dallara has achieved to make an even better car. It's safe, but the feel has not changed. It has even improved as there is greater and better downforce. But overall, it's one of the best cars I've driven. With teams including Motorpark, Carlin, Van Amersfoort Racing, Double R, and new team Crypto Tower Racing from Japan, all racing at tracks like Hungaroring, Paul Ricard, Red Bull Ring, Monza, Mugello, Spa-Francorchamps, and Barcelona, it is a serious series that has an unfortunate reputation as a series people may go to for redemption, or because the budget isn't there for the more accepted options. However, the winner from last season stepped up to Formula 2, and the winner from the previous season, Felipe Drugovich, has also worked his way into Formula 2. And this will be the hope and expectation for whoever wins that title this year. I've been speaking primarily about European series, but it's nearly as confusing in America and Japan, where as well as the FIA approved F3 route, there's also the Road to Indy and the Super Formula options. What this video has hopefully highlighted is that there's spots available for multiple series for drivers to step up the ladder and give themselves options for, in terms of progression. All those F3 championships tend to be on the support card for good level endurance and GT series, so even if for one reason or another single-seater route doesn't work out, the options are there for making connections for going down other routes. I wish all these young drivers well. Anyway, that's enough of me wandering on about it. Hope you've enjoyed the video and found it useful. As always, enjoy the racing and I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye bye for now.